everyone. I am Camille Miller of the Natural Life Business Partnership. It is January 7th of 2019, and we are doing a member spotlight with charter member Ruth Ratliff. She is a voice professional, inspirational speaker, and author of The Voice of Women's Wisdom. Thank you, Ruth, for joining us today.
Thank you, Camille, so much for having me. I am honored, really, for
Thanks.
the opportunity.
Ruth is also our like chairperson or whatever for our Writers Roundtable, and she does a really fabulous job. So if you're able to be a part of that roundtable discussion on each month, she does an amazing job telling us all about her journey of becoming a writer. And that's how I wanted her to be a part of this member spotlight and learn more about her book, because listening to her journey of how she started writing and how she got that inspiration was kind of inspirational in itself. So Ruth, why don't we start there, and you tell us a little bit about how you wanted to start writing, or you got the idea for your book?
Sure. Yeah, as I say in the writers group, I'm not one of those people who always consider themselves a writer. I never did. I mean, I wrote, I can write well enough for business and so forth, but it wasn't like I was journaling every day and doing all this stuff. It was really through an inspiration that I had after I took Christiane Northrup's Ageless Goddess course about 3 or 4 years ago. I was so taken and impressed with the technology and what she shared in the course about the paradigm of aging, specifically as it relates to women, that I started my own Ageless Goddess group with about 10 of my girlfriends, and we meet like every year. And through that meeting, I realized that women really, women always talk, we always get together in groups and talk. We're very social, but through this group, I realized that women want more. Especially now with, I believe, the divine feminine energy coming up, and just the greater awareness in general of a lot more holistic metaphysical ideas. People are much more open to that, and that women in general are looking for a much more meaningful way of getting together and sharing and learning. And really that was my reason for doing the book was to bring it together. Initially, it was supposed to be an ebook on my site to get as a giveaway, and so I was pondering, like, how can I do this? What's the type of what slant shall I take? How shall I move forward with this? What tact shall I take? And then to help women empowerment. And I was like, well, gosh, Ruth, you're a voice coach. You've been doing that for forever. I've been involved in voice. I'm a performer, a singer as well. I have been coaching voice for 20 years. And that's my expertise. So the voice is an incredibly powerful tool. So that's how I moved forward with The Voice of Women's Wisdom. There it is.
Yay!
And I was just like really tickled that I did it. It's just very, very exciting for me that I actually saw it through to completion. And it was amazing because I drew on my experience from my own experience, and also from seeing the journey that my students take. And what happens to them when they study voice. It's not just, they do, of course, improve from a standpoint of vocal pedagogy. Technically, their range expands and so forth. But it's not just only that. They become more open. They get greater self-confidence. They are empowered. Yeah. And they always tell me that they feel like it has affected them so positively. Like they'll try, they're a little more courageous about trying new things, stepping out a little bit more, speaking out more. So that's exactly what I noticed as myself. I was a very shy teenager. I can't hardly believe it. And I had a pretty difficult family life. Who hasn't, right? We've all grown up in dysfunctional families. But that also, stifled me. And the study of voice was amazing for me, really. It was a transformative study for me. And so that's what I go through in the book. I'm also very, I love science. I was a bio major in college.
Oh.
So I love researching, and I wanted to bring in some science into this book as well. There's plenty of it out there. And just to start about, getting back to the thing about women.
Right. That was actually my next question, was about the one you had said in your opening about divine feminine energy coming up. So I was going to ask you what that was for you, and then why you decided to focus more on the women's voices. So go ahead.
Right, as opposed to men, because I believe that the masculine aspect of our spirituality, of our souls, has been dominant for a very long time, and that it's much more respected. And the women's voices, or the feminine aspect of who we are, is not as respected. If a woman, they think of women as emotional and weak and not logical. And that is the feminine aspect, is not as logical, because it's the right brain, not the left brain.
Okay.
But that's really, I believe, where our strength lies. Our, meaning men and women.
Right.
Our strength lies in integrating both the masculine and feminine attributes. And I believe that the balance has been too masculine for too long, for all of us probably, and that it needs to balance. And is that what you were? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, just really why you chose
women's
women.
voices.
Yeah, women's voices over.
Because of it.
Yeah.
It was really. It's more, Camille. Honestly, it's more. It's actually more the feminine aspect, rather than. And I should have been the voice of feminine wisdom. I don't know, but but it's more of the feminine aspect, definitely. I think that because women's voices, because we are women, so we represent that feminine aspect, and our voices have not been respected for centuries, and it is still in many countries. Women are still kept down. And are not able to be free in the way they speak and who they are, and so forth.
Too emotional, too weak, not logical.
Right.
That kind of idea. Right. Not only here in this country, but certainly in many others.
Absolutely. And we have it really good here as far as our freedoms are concerned. We sure do. We have a lot to be grateful for. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to ask you about some of the key points in your book that I found pretty fascinating. And one was about the vibration of your voice,
right? And
how it changes when you actually sing. Or, well, I guess sing would be higher vibration than just speaking. Did I get that correctly?
No, it's a sustained vibration.
Okay.
Like when we're talking, like if you're talking, you're just talking in shorter quips, but you're not going, you're not raising the pitch. You're thinking about the pitch and the vibration. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't, there are two different things.
Okay.
Your voice always vibrates. It doesn't matter what pitch you're on, or what they call the hertz, the vibrations of vibrations in general are not just your voice. All vibration is measured in what they call hertz, or Hz, and that means that it's the times it vibrates per second. That's how it's measured. Okay, so when you can feel your voice vibrating when you're talking. If you put your hand on your throat, you can feel that vibration. Now, if I'm talking, I'm speaking at about a certain hertz. I don't have my keyboard on, but say I'm talking right about there. I'd say that's a certain hertz.
Okay.
That's like, say, I don't know, like say, I can't even speak intelligently into this word, but say it's like 220 hertz or something like that. This is going to be at a higher frequency. That's going to be, say, 250 hertz. This is going to be at 260 hertz.
Okay.
So the higher the times it vibrates per second, the higher the pitch.
I see.
Does that make sense? I know it's a little
Yep.
confusing. So all these different vibrations, they all create specific patterns. That's, if we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, that's the study of cymatics. The study of cymatics is how sound affects matter. And what I wanted to do in my book, I wanted to offer some of these concepts that gave the reader a different way of holding their voices, and to see really how amazing their voices really are. And cymatics, it's sort of like, I'll just give you a quickie. I show a picture in my talk of somebody playing the violin over grains of sand. Have you ever seen that? And the sand moves?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Right? That's cymatics. Or you see somebody holding a glass and they shatter a glass with their voice.
Yep.
Right? That's the sound vibrations are affecting the matter, right?
Okay.
So that's the study of cymatics. Now, what they've done is they've created a machine called a cymascope, which you can either put, they put tones into it, people sing into it, talk into it, and it shows the beautiful patterns that are formed. And that's why I said, you said most people don't look at the video, because I wanted to show that video. You can look it up yourself. Just look up Cymascope, Cymascope, and it's incredible. They make incredible patterns, and each frequency makes a specific geometric pattern. And those patterns are repeated in nature and in our DNA, in the galaxies, it's incredible. The shapes are incredible. And I was just actually listening to a gentleman who actually devised or invented the Cymascope this morning, and he was saying that these patterns that he sees in the Cymascope mimic the little like the prehistoric animals, like the diatoms. And his supposition is that sound created the world, or at least had a part in creating the world, right? Because
I see
that
it
a little bit. I mean, and what do they say in the Bible? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. What's the word? Right? The sound. So it's kind of cool. I thought that was a pretty cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I guess that also makes sense now when, like when you're meditating or in that state, there's certain musics that make more sense.
Absolutely.
Or I listen to Esther Hicks a lot, the teachings of Abraham. And with her meditations, though, sometimes she just says, just listen to this music for a while and it'll start to sink in what I'm saying. Like the music had something to do with the words to helping you recognize them. So Absolutely. Is that kind of the same? And I guess meditation bowls too, like some of the crystal bowls of why that works. And different people resonate with different sounds.
Yep.
Is there a reason why different people resonate with different sounds, or do all people resonate with similar sounds?
I'd say we're all snowflakes.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone's different. Like my husband is, I think he's empathic. He cannot stand like going to the mall or going to, being surrounded by a lot of noise.
My daughter's like that.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love the energy. I love the, people. He can't stand it. So, I think we're all different. And
wow.
Some people love, I've been to some crystal bowl concerts where people are playing the bowls, and it occurs like they're banging on the bowls to me. I can't.
Right. I've heard that from some people. Find it so, and it's different tones, I guess. Some people find it very relaxing, and others just can't even be in the room.
Right. And then I go to this other sound healer who plays the crystal balls like she's an artist. She's a trained coloratura soprano. She's a musician, and you can tell the difference.
Wow.
She's also intuitive and psychic. So she has a real sense of how her voice harmonizes. It's the harmonics with the bowls. So yes, there's a whole science behind this. I'm studying it right now. I'm working towards a level 1 certification in sound healing with the voice, and it's fascinating, really. And that's part of what I talk about in the book. I'll tell you. Let's see, where shall I go from here? About your voice, I wanted to touch on the bioacoustics. I thought that was pretty fascinating.
Right. That was actually my next note. So this works out great.
Yeah, it's so interesting. It's our vibration.
What interested me is when you said you went to a practitioner and your voice print was an exact match to the results of your blood work. And I found that fascinating. So can you tell us more about that and how that even works or what it is?
Sure. Shari Edwards is the founder of human bioacoustics. The study of bioacoustics in general is that they usually use that in reference to like studying dolphins, the dolphin sounds and
okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's the vibrations of the sounds of the animals. And the study of human bioacoustics is the premise that your voice is a representation of your state of health. And I went to a practitioner, and she had me speak into a microphone that was connected to a computer, which had a program that after I was done, it basically brought up a graph. And the graph had highs and lows on it, like a regular graph. And those graphs were frequency-based biomarkers of where I was out of tune or out of balance. And as I said, it was amazing to me because I had blood work done just a few weeks before that. And I think it showed that I was anemic. There was something else. I was low in vitamin C and something else. I remember. And that was on the
That's fascinating.
Yeah. So
that is fascinating.
What's going on here?
Yeah, but it's also that belief that we're holistic humans, like it's our whole body is telling us at all times what works, what doesn't work. It's like people read it differently, but our body's just emitting what's wrong at all times. So I guess that would make sense, like when you're sick, that your voice goes first. Like my daughter came home yesterday and her voice was wrong. And I said, you're getting sick. And today she's home from school. But I was just like, or when someone's nervous, their voice kind of shakes a bit, or, when they're excited, it goes higher. When they're depressed, it goes lower. I guess there's a lot of sense to that.
Quite a bit of sense. And you can tell what can you tell about a person's voice? You can tell you don't even have to look at the person. If you listen to them on the phone.
Yeah.
Tell their age, their sex, where they're from, how much education they've had.
That's true.
Their mood. I mean, there's so much information that we convey just in the tones of our voices. And the tone of your voice is so critical and crucial to communicating your intent. And that's why a lot of times when people, the age of emailing and texting, there's a lot of misunderstanding that can happen from that, right? Because a lot of times if you just pick up the damn phone,
you fix it.
Because you can hear the person's tone of their voice, you can get the emotion.
Absolutely.
This comes through in our voices, our hearts.
Wow.
That's what's so freaking amazing to me. And what was another point I don't want to take too long here, but Cymatics was amazing. And our heart. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the voice of the heart was going to be the next one that you said. You shared some incredible information about the heart. Do you want to tell us about that?
Sure. I was just blown away by this Heart Math Institute. If anybody is, I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with it, maybe not so many, but go on Heart Math and donate to those people. They are doing incredible work in the study of the heart. And the heart, actually, they found that the heart sends more information to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. And the heart also is 100,000 times stronger electrically and up to 5,000 times stronger magnetically than the brain. And there is this beautiful heart field. It's called a torus field, Torus field, that radiates out around our whole body, about 4 to 5 feet, and that interacts with, our environment and other people and so forth. So, when you're together with somebody, you're sharing that. And it's beautiful. It's an incredible thing. But that's that speaking from your heart. I mean, we've all had the feeling of, our voices sticking in our throats.
Yes.
The throat chakra is an extremely powerful chakra.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just here. It's the chakras are bigger. They're not just these little things. They're much bigger. They right. That whole system it's all connected, and the heart. If you think about it, the throat chakra is right next to the heart, right? And they share. They're right. They're intertwined. They really are intertwined. And there are different voices. I talk about the voice of the heart in my book, or the voice of our intuition, which is another feminine attribute. The heart, another feminine attribute. And there are ways that we can facilitate. And I go into humming and toning. So I don't know if you had a question along those lines before I continue.
Well, you did the humming and toning, sorry. You said in your book that it had a lot of health benefits.
Yes.
From decreasing stress to releasing endorphins.
Yeah. And when we hum, Jonathan Goldman, the very talented sound healer, he wrote a book called, what's his book called? The Humming Effect. That's right. Okay. And he found out that when you hum, when you hum, you get a lot of vibration up in here. There's a little lovely little mucous membrane
okay.
called the nasopharynx, right behind your nose. And the cells of the nasopharynx actually release nitric oxide, which is not nitrous oxide, the stuff you get at the dentist, but it's like our own happy gas, nitric oxide, and it makes you happy. So do you hum because you're happy, or are you happy because you hum, right? But that also can lower your blood pressure and your heart rate. And humming and toning can also release or help the fluids move in your in the lymph glands as well. And it also it's been humming and toning have been practices that have been used for thousands of years in connection with the divine.
Is humming and toning different from singing? Because they always said and then I'm thinking the song that came to mind was "Whistle While You Work." That it's
well, I would say
is it different?
I would say that humming and toning have more intention to doing a specific thing. Like when you do a practice of toning, which is what I also just took a course in vocal toning with the sound healer I was telling you about. You are actually trying to make sound with an intention. And yes, I would say it is different because I'm a trained singer. And I'm finding it really difficult to do the toning, just do a plain as opposed to
Okay.
It's a different sound, right? So there's there's also an intention here and here that you connect to the toning, the practice, because you're trying to actually do something with your chakras. You're trying to balance yourself or use it as a meditative practice. Singing is definitely different.
And singing is also meditation for many people.
Meditation, singing is beautiful. Yes, it's not so different. What I'm saying is that it's your intention, Camille. Singing can be used to heal as well.
Yeah.
But I produce the sound differently. I found that that's different from me. But singing just for fun, it's healthful. Yes, it's healthful. It's absolutely, because you're still producing those vibrations. And that was another piece that I wanted to say, is that when you hum or tone, sing, whatever, you are actually literally bathing the cells of your body in those beautiful higher vibrations, because our bodies the frequency of our body, a healthy human body is like 70. The frequency of a healthy female voice is about 200. So that's a much higher vibration. So you are bathing your body in much higher vibrations when you speak, sing, tone, or hum. Because we're like, what, 70% water, something like that? So
yeah.
all that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So we're vibrating like the violin in the sand.
You bet it.
Like our water.
Right, our
Makes
water.
its own
Right,
pattern.
all those beautiful patterns.
Yeah.
Yes. Another thing I wanted to quick say is I had an experience in this vocal toning course that I took. She had us lying down, and then she put a pendulum over each of our chakras, and you could tell she wasn't moving her hand at all. And I don't know if you know it, but each chakra spins.
Right.
They all spin, and they all spin. One spins this way, so it creates this kind of, S shape.
Yeah.
Called the Kundalini energy. So mine were a little wonky. Well, two here were spinning in the same direction, and this was spinning differently than two at the bottom were in the same direction. So you don't want that. You want them one the other way, right, left, right, left, right, left. So she measured them first. Then we did about 10 minutes of vocal toning. She measured them again, and they were all lined up. They were spinning the way and that to me was like, how do you make this stuff up?
Yeah.
It was so clear that it had an absolute effect on whatever chakras are. I'm just learning all about this myself. So
I was going to say, is this some of this stuff? Are you doing this teaching now in your own professional teachings?
no, I'm just learning.
Not yet.
What I'm trying to do, because I'm going out and giving these presentations now.
Yeah.
I want to, not only talk the talk, but walk the walk. So
Right.
I can educate myself basically on all these incredible things.
It's also inspiring. And it's just another way that energy is showing up, that's, right. I'm blessed really to have the job that I do have and be able to interview and meet all of these people that use healing in such a different way. But there's this common thread of energy that is exactly the same in every single healing that I find fascinating, how it comes out in all different ways, but it's all kind of the same too.
It's all in the
That
same.
makes sense. It's the same, but we all heal differently the same way. Well, I should say healers help heal differently. Like you do it with voice, and someone else might do it with, Reiki, or someone else might do it, the different type of energy healing, but it's all the energy getting in alignment. It's all about vibration and staying high and well and in a good place. It's fascinating. So will we be seeing a second book from you?
I really would like to. I'm just getting a lot more going on. I may do another a republish and go into more detail, more depth, because I'm learning a lot more.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
I might, because I'm learning so much more about this. I'm so freaking excited too. I just connected with John Stewart Reed, who is the inventor of the Cymoscope, and I'm going to be an affiliate. And he, was looking at my website, and we just were emailing back and forth. And he's incredible, and the man he's a genius, really. And I was just so honored to be able to contact him. And I'm going to be exhibiting at the Empowered Light Holistic Expo in Philadelphia in April. And I'm really excited about that. So I'm going to be sort of featuring some of the Cymoscope, the videos. Like I have I'm going to have a screen behind me, and have some of his. He has a lot of really cool articles that I've printed out, and I have a beautiful thing of the Cymoscope. Jonathan Goldman actually toning the heart chakra, and they have a Cymoscope picture of it. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it actually looks like a heart in the middle. So cool. Yeah, so go on cymoscope.com if you get a chance. It's just incredible. The patterns to see how beautiful our voices are. really. And you're doing, as I'm speaking, there's this holographic bubble of these beautiful patterns coming out of me when you speak. Everybody, it's incredible.
Is everybody's different? Because I can see that being some beautiful artwork for each person.
Yes. Oh, you can.
Everybody's different.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure. I would think they would be, but I think that because it has to do with frequency too, and each frequency has a specific
It's its
pattern.
own pattern.
But you can go on Cymatics.com. You can buy a pattern of your voice, and it'll be a picture of your own voice.
That's neat.
It's a great gift, right?
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, it's like $150. It's not that much, So.
I like it. And you could color it. That's
they colorize it. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Well, this has been absolutely fascinating to learn all about what you're doing and the vibrations in your work. It's really fascinating. Tell people, is there anything you want to get in before we end the conversation that we forgot?
I guess it's just, everybody, like you say, everybody has their own way of raising their energy or balancing the different aspects. And just to bring it back down to the feminine aspect, that I do believe that we are balancing in the world. I do believe that the feminine aspect is rising. And however you do that, do it, honor it. Honor your voice. Everybody wants to always change how their voice sounds.
Right.
But it's such a gift, and it's a sacred gift. It's there's a song, Sonia Choquette writes, "You have a holy voice inside of you."
That's beautiful. Beautiful. All right. So tell everyone where they can get more information about you. And I know your book's on Amazon, so we'll say that one more time as well.
Yes, you can go on to RuthRatliff.com, RuthRatliff.com. And you can, take a look at my book there and some of the other information and see where I'm going to be presenting. And definitely check out Cymatics.com.
Yeah. So these notes will be, everything will be transcribed and put on our show page. So everyone can get all the information that you've had. And the best way to get in contact with you is through your website, if someone wanted to follow up.
Sure.
And your book, again, is The Voice of Women's Wisdom, and it is available on Amazon.com.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, it is.
All right. Thank you again for joining us today and being a part of our member spotlight. I really appreciate your time.
And I appreciate you asking me, Camille. It's really, I'm just honored to share the information. Thank you.
Thank you.